I have chosen to discuss a fan depicting scenes of Naples, Pompeii and Vesuvius displayed in the Devon and Exeter Gallery of the RAM Museum in Exeter. It is amongst a series of objects that depict the story of the Grand Tour, an 18th century rite of passage that saw young Englishmen visit continental sites for pleasure, rejecting traditional reasons for travel including education, religion and war. The practice of the Grand Tour ended in the early 19th century with the Napoleonic Wars and the advent of the railways, but the popularity of the Bay of Naples as a tourist destination continues to this day. The fan is an important object to conserve, as it recognises the human instinct to revere and analyse the past, of which its place in the museum is a testament to. I wish to discuss three questions, namely, what was the Grand Tour and Naples' role in it? What type of people owned the fan, and how has the Bay of Naples transformed between the 18th century and now? The Grand Tour was a journey undertaken by upper-class young men from Western Europe who wished to take a year out after their university educations and visit the major sites of European antiquity, and was therefore the forerunner of the modern gap year. Although this was chiefly for pleasure, they were often accompanied by tutors who became known as bear leaders, a mocking reference to the supposedly small brains of their pupils. The idea of the Grand Tour had become fashionable from the late 1600s due to a growing reverence for classical antiquity, which was the catalyst for people visiting Roman sites such as those in Naples. The fan was produced between 1780 and 1800, part of the last heyday of the Grand Tour, as the phenomenon died out during the first half of the 19th century. The pictures on the fan clearly show the aims of the young men undertaking the tour. It depicts the area surrounding Naples, which had become a popular destination for tourists after 1749 due to the discovery of Pompeii and Herculaneum, two Roman towns preserved in the eruption of Vesuvius in AD 79, and were therefore key places to visit for gentlemen interested in classics. Thomas Nugent, an Irish writer and traveller, described Naples in his 1749 Guidebook of Europe, entitled The Grand Tour, as one of the most noble and stateliest cities in the world due to its Roman past. In spite of this glowing view of Naples, the fan itself shows the troubling reality of life in the area during this period, as Vesuvius is shown with a smoking top, possibly in reference to its eruptions in 1767, 1779 and 1794, three of many eruptions during the 18th century. However, despite a realistic view of life in Naples, the fan itself is a product of the glamorized elite and embodies the luxury and sophistication of the age. The original owner is not known, but it is believed to be a souvenir brought back to England by a wealthy gentleman who had visited the areas depicted. It was either made in Italy itself, or the separate pieces were made and then brought back to England for construction, so it adhered to British styles. It is clearly quite an expensive object due to the high quality materials it's made of. The images are on a material known as chicken skin, which, in reality, is the skin of aborted calves, a very desirable but difficult material to produce. Also used were 14 carved and gilded ivory sticks and 2 carved ivory guards, all decorated with ground shell, gilding and mother-of-pearl backing. The fan was finished with a gilt paper ribbon, a metal rivette and mother-of-pearl washers. The image on the back shows a portrait of a woman of the same class as our 18th century gentleman. It is a sepia-printed cartouche of a rather upper-class looking Georgian woman with a Marie Antoinette-esque pompadour hairstyle and a cutting-edge fashion sense. Her image, coupled with the expensive materials this fan is made of, symbolises not only the opulence of the society these people lived in, but also the wealth these gentlemen had to amass to be able to traverse such far distances in the name of pleasure. The picture on the fan shows Naples and the surrounding area as a beautiful but rather rural place, and this is best described by William Beckford, an English novelist and MP, in his Grand Tour memoirs, where he states the area is delightful and calls the landscape a lovely country. When I visited several years ago, the area could not be more different, as it was very urban and had been subsumed by the metropolitan areas of Sorrento and Naples, with buildings even surrounding the base of Vesuvius. It is still a major tourist destination, with tourists attracted by both Vesuvius and the ruins of Pompeii and Herculaneum, the same sites that drew our English gentleman and his bear leader over 200 years ago. In conclusion, this item is important to conserve, as not only is it aesthetically pleasing, it shows the beginning of Naples' rise as a major European tourist attraction, and indeed the birth of tourism itself. Also, by depicting the classical past of Naples, it shows that humans have always had an express need to reflect on history, and its place in the RAM is a continuation of this phenomena.